So like life in general for the 40-plus-year-old person, it's generally everything's tight. So this is how I'm gonna do one specific thing, and this is for your hamstrings. And these are the things that I like to have people do when I'm training them. And I called in the in-house yoga expert to help me maybe with some of my cadence. And if she can,
I'm gonna critique him and yell at him.
and if she can offer up modifications for people, because that's what she's really good at. And so I like to get people right into things, and she would take a different approach. So here we're gonna start with. Well, I'm actually gonna have you start standing at the back of your mat.
Okay. So I can yell at you?
Like that.
This is the top of my mouth.
Yeah, you're not gonna, I hope you don't melt me, jeez. I'm just gonna have you take one foot out in front of you, and take one foot directly behind that foot in one straight line. And then I just want you to take this foot out just a couple of inches, okay? Mm-hmm. So take that back foot out a little bit. You're simply gonna turn your body to face the front of the room like this. Take your arms over your head. You're gonna keep your knee stiff and locked. And you're just gonna roll over slowly down and grab your ankle, shin, thigh, whatever's accessible. If none of that's accessible, then just use your body weight and let your head just fall down and try not to hold tension anywhere and fall into this deep hamstring stretch. Now, do you have any modifications for this stretch? Something that you would do different?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I would do it completely. No, I'm just kidding. You want to use blocks?
Well, if they're accessible. I'm
Yeah.
also just trying to make sure that it's accessible to people who don't have props.
Well, you can actually use like even books or something. You just need a little bit of a lift. And maybe to come into it with your hands, obviously this way is a good side. Your hands on your hips makes it a little easier because you really want to square your hips.
You put your hands upon your hips.
Exactly. You want to square your hips forward. Draw the belly in as you fold. Have a long spine, and then find your prop if you're using it, because it gives you a little bit of a lift.
Yep. And if you don't, if you just throw it out there, if you don't have a prop, the prop could simply be your shin or your thigh.
But the issue is that for a lot of people, it's going to be hard to fully straighten their front leg, especially if they have long legs, right? So you keep a little softness in your leg and keep yourself lifted here. Lengthen out, draw the belly in, squeeze your thighs and hips towards each other. And then as you exhale, fold, leading with your chest. So you're getting this very deep hamstring stretch in the right leg. And this is called pyramid pose. So if you want to come back up, you bring your hands to your hips. I'm just laughing to myself about the way I describe it and the way you describe it. Yeah. It's actually cool because I think that Mike's approach is good for guys.
Yeah, mine's like the guy athletic, like let's get into it. Don't have time for
like fold over, bend your legs.
I don't have time for the small talk. And then what I would do to come out of it is I would just roll back up and I would just put one foot to match the other foot, and then I would just switch sides. Yeah. Same thing. I would turn my body to face forward. And then
I'll do this
I would fold forward and I would let my hands fall. Even if they can't touch anything except up here, I would still keep my knee locked and eventually sink all the way into it.
An add-on to this would be you can rotate your fingertips back and walk them back behind you. Or if they're in front of you, you can flex your front foot. You can draw your toes back. You could even take like a wider stance of pyramid with your back leg back even further. Just some different ideas.
Yep, okay.
Stretch.
So that's stretch number one.
Entire back space here.
We'll call it pyramid. I'll call it just put your leg in front of you and bend over forward. No,
but you want to make sure you square your hips off in that pose.
Yes, that's exactly what I said. You want to take your body facing forward before you start your downward path.
Yeah, and you're right. Having your arms lifted does allow you to square it forward. It makes people a lot of time create a lot of tension in their neck and shoulder. You have to be careful with that.
Yep, understood. Okay, the next one, I'm sure you're gonna have the whole yoga terminology thing's gonna come out big time for this one. So move to the back of your mat. I'm just gonna show people. I need to do it on the mat real quick. Okay, so I like to have people just come from on their hands and knees to just sitting up on their knees and then just swinging out. I don't care if it looks good or doesn't look good, just to get their leg out in front of them in some way, shape, or form. A lot of people have a very difficult time with this. At this point, okay, this may be a lot on your knee. You would want to fold this over or just be on a soft surface. But all I tell people in this pose before they do anything is simply take their toe and point it toward their face. And at that point, the back of your leg ignites. Okay, now if you can do that, and you can kind of lean into it a little bit and reach forward. In some cases, grabbing a toe and pull it back, or just keep leaning forward like this. And I'm talking to the person who is not flexible and who doesn't understand at all yoga terminology. Okay, so it's as simple as you're on your hands and knees. You've patted this knee potentially, or you're on a towel or a soft surface like the gym side. Take your leg out in front of you, point your toe toward your face, lean over and sink into it. And that destroys this whole area back here. It turns on in a big way, okay?
So it's basically a half split, and it's also one of my favorite hamstrings.
Okay, so now, why don't you show what you would do?
But do you ever put your dirty sneakers on my yoga mat? Yeah, we're gonna have a real problem. So I would also instruct it from table if someone's really tight or new to it. But normally what I would do in a class maybe is when we're in a fold and we have our hands maybe on blocks, you would step your leg back into a lunge. You would make sure your knee is over your ankle or behind it, and then you would slowly lower your back knee. See, I have this big diagonal here, so I'm also stretching my hip flexors, which I don't know if Mike was doing that as much. And then you would lengthen out your spine, inhale. And as you exhale, draw your hips back and flex your foot. So you're getting that flex he was talking about. You can maybe reach for your toes, draw them back. Lean with your chest, long spine. Exhale, chest to shin. Deep, deep hamstring stretch. This is your half split. You can have your hands like this, or you can even work into a full split.
Wait, this is where I'm at.
Even if you don't have a full split, which this is my tighter side, I could use a block underneath, rotate my left hip forward, sit up nice and tall.
I just picture like Bob.
Deeply stretched.
Picture my client Bob Austin watching this video and like, oh God. Like no guy I know.
Just wanted to throw it out there.
Careful, watch the mic.
Oh, whoopsie. But if you were in table, like Mike said, you're in table, and then you're going to bring your foot in front. Just make sure that your knee's over your ankle or behind it. But the thing is that limits people here is their back hip in the stretch.
Yeah, but the way I was doing it.
It's not just a hamstring stretch.
Right. Well, the way I'm doing it though.
Yeah.
So let me replace you real quick. Let me get done.
Yep.
So
I wanted to do a split on the other side to even out.
So like I'm having kind of people start here, and even if they're totally just on their knees, just sitting up like this.
Yeah.
Just take your foot out in front.
Yeah.
That's it. Like I'm just trying to go super simple, as little direction as possible to get people to feel this insane stretch. Okay, so that's two approaches, to the same thing.
Yep.
My other go-to favorite thing to do, and I'm gonna have to stand on Erica's mat again. She's not gonna be
No,
thrilled.
we cannot stand on my mat with shoes.
We'll clean it
on the floor.
We'll clean it with very lemony clean material for here. So, what I like to have people do is take their feet out wide, okay, and literally just hinge at the waist. Ooh, did you hear that crack?
Yeah, I heard it.
And reach forward, or reach back here, or reach back here, and lean forward into your toes a little bit, and just let your head relax and let the weight of your upper body pull. Now, this isn't going to be super targeted on the middle of your hamstrings, but it's going to be all back here, and you're going to really, really feel it. And I like to have people just sit and hang here for, 20 to 30 seconds.
So
And then to come out of it, to curl back up, and then get their legs back in and be on their way.
So I like how you said to lean forward in your feet, because if you don't, then you're hyperextending and you're pressing your knees back too far. But also, you should probably be a little bit pigeon-toed here for your balance. Any fold is going to stretch your hamstrings, but a wide-legged fold is stretching them a little deeper, and then you would find the floor and reach where you want to reach, and elbows out, and come into that fold, right? You could also then add a little something to it, which I know you do these too, Mike, is just a side lunge.
Yeah.
Is deeply getting into your inner legs and hamstring.
That is one of the stranger feelings of
Keeping your foot flat, sending your weight back into your left heel, even reaching your hands away. There's so many different add-ons to everything. Even like he was saying, when you come into your fold, you could clasp your hands behind you if you want to get a shoulder stretch in. And when you come up, you can work in like this, heel, toe, heel, toe, heel, toe. Then you work your foot flexibility, mobility, ankles, all that. So that's one of my favorite hamstring stretches too.
Cool. I want to pull that.
Oh yeah, that's
Okay. To just build on what you just said with that other variation, is if I'm here, I'll typically have people kind of rock back and forth just a little bit, just to loosen things up. Okay. And again, this is hamstrings, but it's a little bit different of what's going on with the stretch. It's very aggressive and it's very strange feeling. So then I, as a not that flexible person, would take my elbow to my knee and then lean into it and potentially just scoot this leg out a little wider until I feel extreme stretch in here. Then I would put my leg up like that.
Yeah, that's a very deep stretch.
Then, hold on.
Yep.
And then
I'm excited. Can you tell?
I would simply just have people, however it's accessible to them. Most people are kind of up here somewhere. I would have them lean into the other side. And then I like to do it like this, either like this, or you can have your arms out like this. Okay. And that's another one of my favorites.
Yep. I like it. So the other thing was, if you're in a fold, right, since you're folding down, you can walk your hands to one side, left hand on top of right ear. I'm going to shift my weight forward in my feet, lengthen out my back, and fold chest to shin. But then I can take it a step further by just pulling my left hip slightly away from my right heel. And I'm getting all into my right leg here. So if I do the same to the left, take right fingertips on top of left, shift my weight forward, lengthen out, fold as I exhale, and then gently pull my right hip away from my left heel, getting into my left leg. That makes sense?
Yeah.
Come back to center, and then come up.
Okay.
And then heel toe, and
heel toe. And again, I'm deliberately doing this with sneakers on so that people can see that. People get freaked out sometimes by the thought that they have to take their shoes off to do yoga, and you just don't have to if you don't want to or don't feel comfortable doing it, or if you just don't have time for the outfit change. Like for me, often I'll do yoga stuff in the middle of when I'm doing weightlifting and stuff like that. I just don't have time to do the removal. So I kind of dress appropriately for all different scenarios.
Lately I've been keeping my socks on, but I'm just sliding everywhere.
Yeah, that stinks. Either I'm going barefoot or I'm going with sneakers on. Socks make it too slippery. Okay.
I have another good stretch for you if you want to see it.
Well, I have another one too.
Okay, you go first.
And it's my last one actually.
Okay.
And it's just me on my back, okay, with a strap. Now, this is a yoga strap specifically. You can do this that I'm about to show you with anything like a long towel, like towel will work, a scarf, a t-shirt. I don't think a tie would work, but you get what I'm saying. Like something that's just
That would work.
sort of long like this. And what I like to do is I like to take the strap, put it about 2 or 3 inches below my toes. I'm just laying back.
It should be at the base of the ball of your foot.
Well,
actually.
Or 2 or 3 inches below your toe. So same thing.
No, a little lower.
No, I like it right here because I like to pull my toes down. So then I like to take this thing and wrap it around my hands so I can get really good pull. And I'm flat on my back and I'm just keeping my leg straight and I'm pulling it to the point where it's clearly obvious that it's not going to go any further than this. And the more I pull on the front of my toes, the deeper the stretch, or the more I pull it higher, the deeper the stretch.
Yep.
So I like to hang here for 15, 20, 30 seconds. And then to come out of it, I just sit up, I swap it out, and then just come back like this.
Okay.
And this to me is very accessible to most people. I had a client come here this past week who had double knee replacement and couldn't get to her back to do a yoga pose ever. And I had her do this for the very first time.
I bet she loved it too.
And she loved it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
That's it.
Okay, so that's good.
Do you want this thing?
Yeah. So what I do when I instruct the leg strap stretches is we start with our soles of our feet on the floor. So you don't have to sit up or anything. My hair is gonna drive me nuts to pull out. So you would take the strap around.
Oh, also, real quick, truth be told, I wore sneakers because I've been running so much that my feet.
Oh God! All
My
right.
feet are
Check this out.
not.
No one
publicly-
cares.
They should not be publicly visible.
No one cares. Right. So now my hips are aligned better. So I'm going to draw my leg back. Then I'm going to slide my left leg down. So now I have this assisted split basically. And I'm holding the strap with both hands, but I'm holding it together. I'm going to take a breath in.
I feel like I need like the.
You can do that. Yeah. But the one thing to always say is you're deepening your stretch on the exhale is when you would pull in. And the best part about this hamstring stretch is you can support your hip down, control it, and bring your leg out to a controlled straddle, one in which you're not rolling over. You're drawing your foot up to your face. That's one version, holding there. Or you could do this intense version where I'm going to switch hands, grab the strap with my left hand, bring my right arm out to the side, and guide my leg over. Holy moly, is this a deep outer leg shifts to your IT band stretch, pressing the heel away, keeping my shoulder down. You can also get into like a half happy baby or something like that. So you can do that with both sides, again, starting, so you don't never have to sit up or anything. But yeah, I could see how this is hard for some people to get the strap around their foot without sitting up.
Yeah, so if people are very overweight and like have quote unquote stuff in the way,
Yeah.
I've seen people have things that are inaccessible to them for reasons why I would have never thought before training a lot of different body types. Whether it's pre-existing injuries or being overweight or whatever, there's a number of reasons why. Something very simple can go a long way. And for me to instruct it the way I do, and try to make it as accessible as people who have very limited capabilities and mobility, to make sure that everybody can get into it.
You can also do this without a strap. You can lift your leg up. And
I find that.
Lift your head and shoulders up and clasp your hands behind, and then just walk your leg closer.
It's one of those things. I had a person come over here and try to do happy baby, and I just jumped into this yoga pose. That's what you just did. You just jumped into like a single leg straight up to the sky thing.
I'm not even like that flexible.
No, I know, but that's like a lot of people can't even get their leg like off the ground, like let alone straight up.
Yeah, you get tight.
So yeah,
I've been moving on my mat for 10 years, so teaching for 10 years.
Yeah, it's been longer than
before that. Yeah.
So
okay, that was good. Those are one of my favorite hamstring stretches. I got one more.
Okay,
one more.
let's see, yeah,
It's a new one I've been doing. I think you're gonna love it. You're gonna want to try it. But you got to move over there.
All right, let's
Okay,
go.
so you come into the table, hands and knees. Whoops, I keep hitting the microphone over and over again. I literally knocked it over this time. Mike's gonna yell at me. Okay. So we're in table. I'm gonna slide my right foot out. This is actually called gate pose, when your foot is in line with your knee, but I'm gonna stay here. I'm going to flex my right foot, and then I'm gonna sink my hips back, like almost like I'm going into child pose. Reach my arms forward. Huge leg stretch. And then very similar to what you were doing when you were squatting down. And then coming forward, I could flatten my foot, take it again like that. And here's the other side, would be flexing and drawing back. This is actually hurting the top of my foot because my foot is off the mat, but same thing, you can double up your mat underneath your knee for a cushion. Right, like this. If you're on a mat, or you can put a little blanket under your knees. So I think we did, what, 5 hamstring stretches?
Yes, yep, definitely a really good amount for people to at least get into it. So in the very near future, what we'll do is we'll put out a very specific hamstring class so people can follow it. But this is more of an instructional insight kind of thing from the perspective of someone who's more a personal trainer and less a yoga instructor. Even though I am certified, I still teach it more like a personal trainer would teach it. And to hear the same cadence come from a yoga teacher, I think is just good insight for everybody. So take whatever you can from it.
Any folds. Anytime you fold your body over, you're stretching your hamstrings. We just want to do it safely. Keep your knees bent a little bit.
Yep. So next time out, let's do, a lot of people complain about their hips. I even have guys complaining about their hips. Everyone's complaining about it. So next,
stand at the wall and do some circles.
We'll get into that next. So hopefully you enjoyed this. Let us know any questions. And see you next time.
Sounds good. I was going to make fun of you, but I'll do that later.
Thank you.
You got to keep my mat down, dude. Peace.
It's